Hello guys, this is Olga, and with this lesson we start the grammar part of our course. Grammar is the most important aspect of a language because you've learned a lot of vocabulary, you know a lot of terms, a lot of phrases to use at work, but how do they work together? This is what grammar does. Grammar makes everything work together. This is a structure that you have to know and use. And English grammar is actually not such a difficult thing, and I'm sure you already know lots of grammar topics by now. But let's go over a couple of simpler topics, starting with this lesson, which is present simple and present continuous. And then we're going to go into some deeper topics like conditional sentences and so on. So let's speak about these two tenses, present simple and present continuous. All right, so here on this slide, you see this part of the slide is devoted to present simple and this part to present continuous. What do you know about these tenses? Of course, you know that present simple, this part, is a tense that speaks about regular actions. This is the most important thing that you have to remember about present simple. Present simple is regular, and present simple is true. This is something that's always true. Well, let's look at the examples here. We have lots of them. Peter works as a software developer. Peter works as a software developer means that this is his everyday job. He goes to work every day. This is a regular action. Constants don't change their value. Don't change. Well, if it's a constant, it's always true that a constant doesn't change its value, or constants don't change their value. Does he always shut down his computer at the end of the day? Does he always shut down? Yeah. So what can you see from these three examples here already? We have positive sentences like Peter works. We have negative sentences, constants don't change. And we have a question, does he always shut down his computer? And you can see the formation of all of those sentences, types of sentences actually. So Peter works. You see that the letter S is highlighted here. This is the most important thing actually to remember about present simple. Verb, and sometimes the verb takes the ending S. When does it do it? With he, she, it. We add ending S to the verbs. So I work, you work, but he works, she works, it works, and then we work, they work. Lots of people make this mistake, so pay attention to this letter that you have to add with he, she, it in positive sentences. Speaking about negative sentences and questions, you can look down here. In questions, we use do with I, you, we, they, and does with he, she, it, right? So we put do or does at the beginning of the sentence, and then the rest of the sentence. And the verb in this case doesn't change. No, nothing is added here. No S here, right? So just do or does. Does he always shut down, or do I always shut down my computer? And the other three examples here are the following. Our manager is outside the office today. My laptop isn't powerful enough. And are you busy? What's that about? Well, usually when we have just a verb, we add S to the end, or do, does, for negative sentences and questions. But pay attention that when we have the verb to be, which changes to is, am, are, right? We don't add anything to this verb, right? So we just changed to be into its form. For example, our manager, he or she, is outside. My laptop isn't powerful enough. Yeah, and are you busy? You are busy. So with the verb to be, this is the thing to remember. We don't add any additional verbs. We don't add do or does. Right, and something which is written in red here, this is also a thing to remember, that when you use does at the beginning of the sentence, don't forget that there shouldn't be any s ending with the verb, right? So just does he work without this s. Okay, so this is present simple, and with this tense, you speak about something you do regularly, every day, every month, every week, and whatever, and something that is always true. Yeah, like I work as a teacher, or um, or I am a teacher, right? Or I like pizza. Well, this is something that is generally true. I like it. I like it all the time, right? So this is present simple. Now, what about present continuous here? Present continuous is a very nice tense because it speaks about the action which is happening right now at the moment of speaking. For example, I am teaching right now, right? Because this is what I am really doing, in fact. So the formation of this tense is to be plus verb with ing. So this is where you use ing with the verbs like speaking, learning, reading, writing, developing, and so on. But this is also a very important thing because the word with ing itself is not present continuous. You have to use it together with this be. And what is this be? This be is, again, it changes because of the person. Yeah, if I say I am, right? He is, she is, it is, we are, they are. So let's look at the rule here. We use to be plus verb with ing for actions that are happening at the moment of speaking. This is the first and most important rule. But there is something more to it, to present continuous. And that is that you don't only use present continuous to speak about something which is happening right now, but also something which is happening around the moment of speaking, right? For a longer period of time, not in the past, not in the future, but the present period of time, yeah? And this is the next rule here. We use to be plus verb with ing for actions that are happening at this period of time. So something more than just this moment, yeah? You can speak about today, you can speak about this week, this month, and so on. So the period of time can be longer than just this particular second or moment, right? So let's look at the examples here. I am learning JavaScript now. It means that I am learning JavaScript this week or this month, right? Somewhere around now, yeah. But I mean that this is not something that I do regularly, right? This is not present simple because this is not my job to learn JavaScript, right? This is just something that I do, that I am doing at this particular period of my life, and at some point I'm going to finish doing it because this is just a period. This is a period in my life, not my usual everyday action. The next example, he isn't using Ethernet cable right now. He isn't using it right now. And in this sentence, we mean not the period, not week, not month, right? Just this particular moment. So if I want to use this cable, I'm asking somebody, are you using this cable right now? And he says, no, I'm not using this cable, so I can use it. How many projects are you working at? Again, you can see three types of sentences here. The positive sentence is I am learning, which is to be plus verb with ing. Then you see a negative sentence. He isn't using, I am not using, or we are not using. And then you can see a question. How many projects are you working at? So in each sentence, you can see that the ending ing stays the same, right? And the verb to be is always present. You have to use it all the time, whether it's a positive, a negative, or a question sentence. And let's look here. This is something that you have to note. Some words are not used in continuous. Yeah, so this is a surprise, but this is true. Some words are not used in the continuous tenses. For example, agree. Yeah, I agree with you. Just that, using present simple, not present continuous. To depend. It depends on the type of language you use. Yeah, it depends on. You always use present simple for that. Like, hate, matter. Yeah, it matters, or it doesn't matter what country you live in. Yeah, always in simple tenses. Need, understand, want. So just memorize these words down there and remember that they are not used in continuous tenses. All right, so let's go over these two tenses once again. Present simple, used for actions that are regular and for things that are always true. I teach English. I go to work every day. This is a regular action. Or I like pizza. This is something that is always true about me. Yeah. And present continuous here is the action which is happening right now. I am speaking right now. This is something that happens at the moment of speaking. Or I am reading a really nice book now, which means not really now, but some bigger period. Yeah, I am reading an interesting book this week. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so I hope that you grabbed the main points about present simple and continuous. So let's move over to an exercise which is gonna help you to revise what you've learned just now. So look at these sentences and fill in the gaps. I will give you a couple of seconds to think about each sentence and then the answer will appear in the gap. So let's look at number 1. Mondays, always busy for us. And the verb that you have to use is to be. So the answer is Mondays are always busy for us. Mondays are, because Mondays are plural. We use present simple of the verb to be in plural because Mondays is like they are always busy for us. The next one. Think about the type of action that it is. Is it something that is happening right now? In this case, you will use present continuous. Or this is something that happens regularly. In this case, you will use present simple. So the answer is crashes. My computer crashes every time I open this program. Because you can see that it does it every time. Every time means that the action is regular. Number 3. Code quality really matters right now. And in this case, you have to think about the verbs that are not used in continuous tenses because the phrase right now kind of means that this is happening now at the moment of speaking. Here, you can see that some words are not used in continuous, and these verbs are agree, depend, like, hate, matter, need, understand, and want. So the verb matter is actually used here. Number 4. And I hope you're correct. What are you working at now? What are you working at now at this particular moment? This is present continuous. Number 5. And the answer is, he is running the code right now to see if everything is fine. Again, the phrase right now gives you a hint that this is present continuous. Number 6. And let's see the answers. He doesn't run the code, and that is a big mistake. He doesn't run the code. This is present simple because he does it regularly. He doesn't run the code all the time regularly. And that is a big mistake. Number 7. Do you play computer games in your free time? What kind of action is it? Yes, you're right. This is a regular action. Every time when I have some free time, I play computer games, for example, right? So this is a question about that. Do you play computer games in your free time regularly? Number 8. As a software developer, I often go to different conferences and meetups. This is not a question, so the question mark is not correct here. This is just a positive sentence. Sorry for that. As a software developer, I often go to different conferences and meetups. And the last sentence, number 9. And you're correct, I hope. Do you need to register to use their website? Do you need to register? Need is one of the verbs that you don't use in continuous forms. So in this case, we use present simple. Do you need to register? Okay, I hope you did well in this exercise. You have a worksheet to download together with an answer key. So you can do the exercises and then check your answers with the answer sheet, with the answer key. The next topic is going to be no less interesting. So stay tuned and see you next time.